Before I go through the process of the tutorial, I'll show you how is the state of my Lumia. Why I have to use the Windows Device Recovery tool to downgrade it. I'll turn it on right now and you'll see why. Press the power button and it's starting. Windows is starting. Okay, here you can see why. This Windows phone is running Windows 8.1, but I did this upgrade accidentally, so my touch screen stopped working. It doesn't work with this version of Windows Phone. As you can see, I touch the screen and nothing happens. So I have to downgrade it to the version 8.0 of Windows Phone. But I can't use a software like Nokia Care Suite because both of my Windows Phone volume buttons are broken. As you can see, I press this down and up and nothing happens. So I can't start the flashing process using the volume down button plus power button because the volumes are broken. So I needed an automatic flashing process like the one is done with the Windows Recovery tool. So what we do now is we just plug the USB cable like this. Okay, it's plugged, nothing working. You can see the touchscreen doesn't work with this version, so I will show you how to downgrade this phone using Windows Recovery tool now. So as you saw before, my phone is already plugged into the USB cable with the USB cable, and now I will open Windows Device Recovery tool. It detected my cell phone, which is a Lumia 620. I'll click it, and as I said before, I accidentally upgraded my phone to the last version of the firmware. So as you can see here, my phone has the firmware version 3058 and the software available on server is the 3058. So it is upgraded, but my phone doesn't work with the software. So I will use this same Windows Device Recovery tool, but to downgrade my cell phone with an earlier version of the firmware. In my case, I have already downloaded the software, as I will show you here in the folder where the software is stored after the device recovery tool downloads it. I'll show you. Come to computer, C drive, program data, Microsoft, package, products. As I said, I already run the device recovery tool and click the install button, and the software was downloaded and it's stored in this folder here, as you can see. Now comes the trick. What you have to do is you have to download the version of the firmware you want. For example, you can come to this site here called mrcrab.net, and you can download any firmware version that you want. You click here, firmware, product code list, product code, sorry, and you input here your cell phone product code. In my case, my Lumia 620 has a product code which is 059 R3 Q8, and you click get firmware, and you'll see a list of various firmwares that were released by Microsoft for your device, starting from the last one, which is the 3058, which is the one that is installed right now in my cell phone, to the earlier ones. But in my case, the firmware that I wanted is not listed in the site, so I had to make a Google search and download it from another source. The firmware I was looking for was this one, the 1030. I downloaded it here, and is this one that I will use to downgrade. So what you do now, you open your firmware that you want to install. As you can see, I download all the files that comes with the firmware, but all I need is the FFO file, which is the biggest one. It has 1 plus gigabytes. I'll return to the folder where Windows Device Recovery store the files it downloads, which is this path here, and in this folder I will duplicate this folder that is here. I will copy and paste. Let's wait for it to finish. As you can see, I have two folders with the same content in it. Now, what I will do is go back here to the firmware I want to install. I will copy only the FFO file. I'll copy, go back to the products folder. I'll enter the folder that I've just created. I will delete the FFO file from the last version of the firmware. Delete, and I'll replace it with the firmware that I downloaded, the old one. Click paste. Let's wait here. It finished. Okay, here we go. So what we have here is the last files from the last firmware downloaded by the device too, except for the FFO file, which is the one that we have our cell phone to have. But this file here, it can't have this name. We'll have to rename this file. Okay, let's rename it. You go back to this folder called products, open the RM-xxx folder with the last firmware from Nokia. You copy the name, sorry, you copy the name from the FFO file. You copy it, and you go back to the folder you placed the old firmware and replace the name with the latest firmware there. So this is the trick. You have the names of the files uh, with the last version of the Microsoft site, but the FFU file, which is the one that is used to install on your phone, it has the name of the last file, but it is not. It is the old version that you want to install. So now you come back here. I will rename this folder to RM-xxxa, that is. And I will go back now to the device recovery tool. When I click this button here, reinstall software, it will check the package folder and see that I already have a folder called RM-xxx with the latest version of the software from Microsoft servers. So it won't download it again because I already did. So let's see it. I'll click reinstall software. Here has some warnings. If you want to make a backup or something like that, you click continue. See, he is checking the compatibility of a download files. Now is the trick. As soon as the message here changed to flashing turning your phone to flash, you have to go back here quickly, rename this folder here, and rename this folder to the name the software we read. And as you can see, so what will happen when you do this? When you do this rename, the device tool software, he checked this folder here with the file names and the integrity of the files, but when it starts to the installation process, it will read from this folder, which contains the same files except for the file that you replaced with the old version of the firmware, but with the same name of the upgraded one. And as you can see, he is installing the firmware, but not the one he thinks he is installing. He is installing the old version that you replaced there. And after this installation process is complete, you will see that your phone will have the version that you wanted to install. As you can see here, look, it's installing. Look, my phone is installing, everything going okay as expected. And when this process finishes, I will return to show you that my phone was downgraded using Windows Device Recovery tool. So the installation process completed. My phone is starting now, and you will see that the touch screen will go back to work. It will work again because it only works with this old version of Windows Phone, this firmware 1030. Let's wait for you to start. Here's the screen of the computer showing that the installation, the operation was successfully completed. And here, as you can see now, the touch screen is working perfectly. I can touch it, it responds well. And just for checking purposes, I will, after the process of installing the old firmware is complete, I will open the device recovery tool again just to show you guys that the process was successfully. And as you can see here in a moment, the firmware version of my Lumia 620 is the 1030, which is an old version, which unfortunately my Lumia 620 only, the touchscreen of my Lumia 620 only works with this version of the firmware. And yeah, I just used Windows Device Recovery tool to downgrade from an upgraded version to an old version. Just remember that this process, you can use whatever firmware you want. If you want to upgrade or downgrade, doesn't matter the version, as long as it's compatible with your device, you can just use this method that I showed you here. And that's it. I hope this process helps somebody, and that's what I have to show you.